Morning, everyone. We're still missing quite a few slowpokes or Zoom problems or something. We'll see. Today I was hoping to see some shipping project demos. And whenever we've been demoing all semester, I've appreciated you guys showing off your work. I think it helps you to see each other's way of solving problems for sure. But it's something that you might have to do at work too. And I want you to think about it. You can work really hard with a group, with a whole team for many, many months. And then when you actually demo that project to the clients or to the boss and the clients, the demo is what they're going to remember, right? So they may not remember everybody that's worked so hard and all those kinds of things. So it's important to put your best foot forward when you're presenting things and try to remember that you are making the impression. I always kid students, and I'll kid you guys this morning, don't start out talking about your problems. Oh, well, I would have done better if this would have happened, or I made this terrible mistake. You can bring those out as you go. That's really important, to be humble and show people that you have issues, but we don't want them to be your lead off. So let's keep those for later and not talk about any bad things. Rich, you have a lot of job experience. Do you have any input in presenting projects and things to management? What's been your experience with that? Can I put you on the spot? See if his sound is working this morning. Hey, there he is. You've got sound.
So yeah, correct. I mean, your boss is going to want to see what you're doing, and you should be ready for constructive criticisms and be ready to be like taking different paths all the time, because your vision might not be the same as your boss's vision, even though the boss gave you a written path to take. You might get it wrong.
Or like you say, they might even have kind of altered their path without letting you know.
That is a correct statement.
And what the biggest thing that I've seen, because Rich brings out such an important point there, the most successful people that I've seen in the CIS fields are the ones that always say, we'll look into that, or let me get back to you on that, and they make a note. So the people that panic in the presentations and say, no, I don't think we could do that, that's never a good choice. Would you agree with that, Rich?
I agree. Yesterday, I was given an assignment, I would say probably 5 months ago, and it really touched a lot of code in the system. And inadvertently, I removed functionality that was there before, and I didn't realize I did it. And this last 2 months, what we call vendors all just gathered and put a big whooping on me. And of course, my big boss yesterday got hold of me. The one big boss, he was like, hey, I have this issue, and I knew exactly what it was because I've already fixed it for this next release coming out. And I had to humble myself and go, yeah, I removed that functionality inadvertently. I didn't mean to, but I did, and I'm sorry.
Yeah, because sometimes bad things happen, right?
Yes, bad things happen and you don't even realize it. And it was as simple as allowing a save on a line in the lines weren't saving. So, I mean, you just need to be humble, and you need to just be excited, and you need to be just who you are and not be scared to make mistakes, because everybody makes mistakes. I've seen well-seasoned programmers, people in the industry for 20 years, seriously make serious mistakes. And I've seen new people make mistakes. And we're all just programmers, and we all just just make mistakes, I guess is what I'm going to say.
I think that that's important, but I think it's so important. And it's also important to accept glory. So if you've done a great job and there's a bunch of people giving you accolades and trying to give you awards, that's okay too. And sometimes we can take this kind of humble approach and feel really embarrassed or somehow like we're undeserving of the accolades and awards. So remember, if somebody gives you a compliment, you say thank you. If somebody gives you a criticism, you say thank you, and then you just continue on from both of them. I guess that would be my words of wisdom. I don't know, I
Yes,
appreciate Rich's too.
thank you.
It can be hard to accept awards also, it really can. And I don't know, like in my 3D animation class this semester, I have this is all high school students, and I have a career center student who's just doing an amazing job. I mean, he just took to this like a duck to water. I don't know how else to explain it. You see people that do things like that, and he's just within a couple of weeks doing production level work that he could probably get paid for easily. And so the rest of the class is very intimidated because they're not able to do that. He has some sort of special skill. Plus, he spent a lot of time at the beginning because he was really excited about it, watching videos and learning. So when you have a situation like that, you want to look to that person and try and learn as much as you can from them. Don't be intimidated by them. Don't run away from them. Don't beat yourself up saying, why am I not them? Look at them and try to figure out, have they spent more time studying? Maybe it's just something that comes easier to them. So yeah, those people are helping, love helping too. Good job, Jackie. Yeah, people that are really, really gifted sometimes can really help other people. So let's just try to remember and move on forward. You guys, this is a kind of an advanced class, definitely advanced. And I want you to think about the fact that your skills are very valuable. The skills that you've learned are valuable, and you are worth being valued for those skills, because sometimes as um, people that tend to have a personality that can be a little bit introverted, we might not value our skills as much as somebody who's very extroverted and really all the time out there saying, look at me, how great I am. So we have to get on with that and do it. So thinking of those things, let's see some awesome shipping projects. And remember, the printing process was completely something that you guys went out and figured out on your own, was part of the project to see that you can do that now. You know, it's important to be able to take all of the information you've gathered and be able to figure out how to do something difficult like that printing process. So, you know, we're going to see some different levels of implementation. Remember, learn and look at others and ask them questions to figure out how they did things so that we can move forward. In a presentation like this, stand out. Don't be afraid to speak up. Sometimes these people that are very, very skilled, very talented, can like to take the back seat. That's okay if you choose to do that. But if you choose to do that, remember then you may not be out there in the spotlight receiving those accolades that you are deserving of. So make sure that if you've played an important role throughout the whole project, you also play an important role in presenting the project to your management. Sometimes we tend to like to take a back seat, and I want to make sure that you're out there getting all that glory. Glory is hard to come by, so we need to enjoy it if we get it. It's really important. Okay, so the first group that I'd like to see is group 1, and I'm just going to kind of go in order that way, and we'll see how this goes. I'm going to stop my share so that they can take over, and we'll just kind of see what they want to show us. We have so many different aspects to this project that different groups might want to focus on different things.
All right, y'all, we're group 1. I guess we'll go first. So with this project, we took more of a functional approach, by which I mean we followed all the requirements and met them, of course. You know what, I'll just go ahead and just start the program and just show you what's going on. As you can see, we have a delightful box picture up in the upper right here.
Nice.
I'm just going to quickly insert some data here just to make sure it works, which it does, of course.
Fancy.
And there you go, you can add packages, of course. What we ended up doing here was, so we had a choice between, I guess, making another form or having a message box or something pop up here for your invoice. We ended up using the panel panel component of Windows Forms. Basically, this is just a little, I guess, a panel. I guess there's no way to describe
Nice.
it. That pops up. You can put whatever you want on there. We ended up just having very simple, like print component here. What it does is it basically just outputs to a text file on the desktop. In terms of what we're going to add to this to the future, we're looking at the, I guess, the print file dialog. That's something to work on for us. But that's that here.
And doing the text file works, right? Because, I mean, when you're right there, then you could print it, couldn't you?
It does. And that's something we're going to have to look into, the print file dialog. I guess it couldn't be that difficult. I see it when I'm looking at the form. It's a component you can add. It couldn't be too terribly difficult, I don't imagine. And similarly, the labels work sort of the same way, although you'd have to type in some real relevant data for it to look nice. And also, you can print out a little label there too.
Oh, very nice.
And lastly, I guess this is pretty much the simplest part. You can just, it just loads up a little SQL form, just showing you all the bad data you've entered to test this out. That should do it. Ellis, do you have anything to add?
I looked into the printing system, but I don't know if it's because it was outdated or what it was. But I think the idea, what the person was trying to do was to use graphics to essentially take a screenshot of a panel and then send it into the printing form. But when I try to use those commands, I would go to the printing section and then it would say that this function doesn't exist or something. So I tried to figure that out, but I couldn't have a way of going around that.
So I think I also looked into the printing, and I think in theory it's basically just a command called print file dialog, which you send a text file to and a location for I guess that's it, like a text file, and it opens up the Windows print file, and I think that's it.
That's cool. Let's see. I want to see the other great things that your project does. Can you go back to your tabbed view there and show us again what all you were looking at? Because it looks really nice. And so you're, whenever you go to your old invoices,
yes.
What are we looking at there?
This is the SQL table called packages.
Okay.
It's basically every single entry we've ever entered. And as you can see, I guess we don't have a lot of time because we enter a lot of ASDFs and stuff like that. This is something we were talking about this morning. So we've all had a few SQL classes in between us. We're actually curious, is there a way to delete, I mean, there must be, is there a way to delete duplicate data that has a similar, that has different package IDs? I mean, there must be a way to do that. We're thinking it's remove distinct or.
Yeah, no, not really.
No.
Nope. Programmatically, you would have to write a program. And so remember when Kelly came, our guest speaker, that's the kind of program that they would write, say they were going to import data from a company, a bank that Jack Henry had just bought, and they were wanting to, or this bank had just bought Jack Henry's system is what I should say. And they're wanting to import the data into Jack Henry's system from this old system, but the old system allowed, some sort of duplication like that. Then Kelly and Chris, that other guy, would write code to actually eliminate those values or summarize them or whatever to correct that data to make it something that would be importable. So whenever they were talking about their job function was kind of new acquisitions and special project type things, that's the kind of thing that a programmer might do that would be assigned to that kind of job. So it would be a thing that they would have to write some code and have some logic in there to figure out which ones to get rid of, depending on which ones you wanted gone. But that's very nice. So when we look at that view, we're seeing all of the historical packages.
that does it for us.
Great. How did you set up your classes then? What was your application structure?
Okay, so basically put everything in comfy little folders here.
Nice.
I'm trying to think. Oh, I think we put it all in the business folder here. So we can, of course, start with the package abstract class, which is just holds all the package stuff. We also use some model classes, which are basically just these classes that just hold a little bit of information we need that we can grab from an SQL statement.
Great.
They're basically just bespoke little classes just for the invoice printing label and for the invoice printing and the label printing.
Very nice. Good organization. Anybody have any questions or comments? I'll bring up my participants thing and let's see. We can give them a hand. Yay. Everybody give them a hand there and they can see it in their participant screen and know that
I'll
they're
assume they're clapping.
so appreciated. Yes, they're clapping. Okay. Use that one. They don't give you all those other hand choices. Okay. So very, very nice. Awesome. I agree. Looked very nice, very professional, really good looking application. Looks like it would be easy to use and very, very worthwhile. Okay, our next group is group 2. We've got everybody here. No, I don't see. Everybody.
Can you hear me?
Yep, we can hear you. Oh, Isaac is here. Okay.
1 second.
Getting it.
All right, so this is our main form for adding packages and invoices. We can change the shipping company, the type of shipping, and how much it weighs. And then here's where it's shipping from. Here's where shipping to. And it adds a package to the list box. And then once we're done, we can order it, and then it shows that our invoice is done. And then if you want to go back to the previous invoices, you just go to history and click on the invoice that you want and the package that was on there, and it displays over here.
Nice.
And then if you want to print one, you just press print invoice, and it shows this for your page for the invoice. Can you see it?
Uh-huh. That looks
Okay.
really good. So they're going to want to see how you did that.
All right.
But wait till you're done showing us. I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, you're good.
Mm.
So on the display view for our form, we have the print receipt print page. This is more Isaac's stuff, but I can explain it. Basically, it just draws the strings and the text that was for that document on here. Yeah, and it grabs it for XML. What else? Also, another cool thing I did for the data adapter for serializer, I just it serializes the information into XML into the database, and it can make it into a class and back serialize it out into a class again. So,
Nice.
And I think that's about it. There's the class for it, the object.
Okay.
And the serializer. And a bunch of code for the buttons and stuff.
User interface. Great.
Is there anything else you want to see?
It's really nice. Anybody get any questions? Anything that you want to see? It looks great. Thank you so much.
Yep.
Good job, you guys. Let's give them a hand. Find out some. Use your reactions. Use your reactions. You've got to be. We're all electronic now, you know. We don't do anything that's not electronic, right? I'm still so worried about this class over here in the corner. On my way out every day, they're always working on paper worksheets, like 12 pages stapled together. I thought we weren't supposed to use paper like that. I don't know what class that is, but they always have these really giant worksheets that they're working on. So we have seen some awesome stuff. I think we're ready for group 3. We have group 3. Yes, we do. All right, you two. A small group here. Small but mighty.
Can you hear me?
Yep, I can
Okay,
now.
great. Okay, so Mary's online. I just realized it. Hi, Mary. So anyway, this is our shipping application here. Hope everybody can see it. Basically, we put some validation in to make sure that all the fields were good. Same as everybody else, just basic information. Cool little drop downs
Date list.
for this.
You want that.
And so I guess we read the requirements differently because this line right here, it says customers should be able to ship multiple packages using different carriers and methods on one invoice.
Yeah.
So that's why we went with
I think that was a good choice.
the radio buttons here, basically. And come on and save. So we just kind of threw down here
Nice.
some very basic information for the carriers here. And so the same thing with this. We just kind of made it so that you can ship whoever with whatever here. We didn't go all fancy out on do history or whatever because on the 2 weeks ago, she said all we had to do was just save it. So basically, we're just saving it to the database. We do have print invoice here. And we use the same kind of deal as group 2. Basically the same code. Basically what you're really doing is you're creating a graphic. You're creating a bitmap image dynamically, and then you're writing to the bitmap image dynamically using XY coordinates. And so that's what we went about doing. It's very tedious because of X and Y's.
Very tedious.
Excuse me?
It's very tedious.
Yes, it's very tedious because, you know, if you're off 2 pixels or whatever. So this is our receipt. Basically, you can see we can ship multiple packages to multiple carriers with multiple options at the same time. And then here's our print labels. Basically, you know, it could be better. It could be worse, you know. So this is our labels, which is the same.
Ready to sell. Mm-hmm.
Same kind of way. And if I mean, we invested a lot of time into this. If this
Mhm.
was a real application, of course, you just keep building on it, more validation, more cleaner GUI, better save methods, pull history. And we do have the print dialog where you can change, where you're printing to in the
Just
properties
awesome.
of the page. And that's it.
Excellent. Any comments or questions? It was beautiful.
Here's our classes, basically. The save to the database, the invoice, overnight packages, utilities just basically for the states. And then
Oh, that's
here's
neat.
our web server. So I don't know if Mary has something else to say.
I think you covered everything.
Awesome.
Yeah, I like the barcodes too. It looks very, very good. And remember that even though we're shipping here, it is kind of a good point of sale application. So keep that code around for your capstone class, and maybe the company that you work for will want some sort of application along those lines, and or you could kind of search for a company that wanted that. But I think that's just excellent. Very helpful to many, many different organizations. I've seen in the capstone class, people have done projects for like HVAC companies that wanted to keep track of where their tech staff was and all the different jobs they have. And, all of those kinds of applications are real similar. So really, really good. Thank you, guys. Let's see. The next one is group 5, and group 5 got real small. Yeah, and Greg decided he was going to go ahead and focus on it on his own, but we did pull, some objectives away from it for him. So, realized since he was working on it on his own, there's going to be pieces that did not get implemented.
I like it.
You like it?
Yeah.
Good.
This is basically it. Add information.
Ooh, I love the use same sender checkbox. That's neat.
Yeah. So if you click that, it won't clear the shipper, but it'll clear everything and default everything else. So you just have to, in order to create a label, you just have to click your package in one of the boxes and create the label. Kind of move the label over here to the address label tab. And if you want to print it, and do that.
Nice.
I did like the screenshot method of doing it.
Okay, when you're done, everybody's going to want to see that too.
Okay. Then you can go back to the shipping information and finish the page. And this will be it's the same kind of printing method. So
Cool.
I print here.
Can you zoom in a little bit? Your glass is killing me. Thank you.
Okay.
Ah, copy from screen. Printing magic there, huh?
Yeah.
That looks really good. Our
That's the
group 1 that did the text is ready to use that and submit theirs and be printing, so Yay. And of course, it's not going to give you the same kind of beautiful capability as Marion Richards because you're not
Yeah.
drawing everything in the same way. It's not as graphical, but it will get it out there to a printer. Very nice.
Yeah.
And then can you kind of point out to everybody how you set up your call to your service? Because we didn't really talk about that on any of the other groups.
Oh, yeah. So basically, when it creates a package, it'll find the service that it's using, and then I put in the calculated cost method, I make a call to the service reference, and then based on service that is in the class, it'll give one of these methods here, like one of these where they'll actually do the calculations of the cost. And it'll return it.
And I kind of like the idea of having each of them as separate methods because that gives you a lot of flexibility if one of them came up with a new requirement or something that was different from all of the others. When I first look at it, I think, that might be a little complicated because we could do the same thing for each shipper. But then when I look at it more, I think maybe that is the best way because we're really isolating each shipper's method. So it would be the most flexible option. I like that.
I tried to design it as close as I could. I worked in a mailroom,
Mm-hmm.
and my system was kind of like this, in a sense. They chose the service, they had to separate like
Neat.
package and stuff.
We're using your expertise.
Yeah.
Cool. I think that looks awesome. Anybody questions? Did you get his print from screen thing? Yeah, that was really an excellent job, Greg. And I appreciate you not getting overwhelmed by it because that is easy to do when your partner is not available. So yay. If anything is possible, we can do it. Let's see. Our last one is grade 6. And let's see. We have some of them. I'm clapping for Greg still. There's Aaron.
Good
Hey,
morning.
Aaron.
Give me a second to get this shared.
You're fine.
Can you hear me?
Uh-huh. We can hear you. And you're not even choppy yet.
Okay, good.
I hope you're not sitting out in the driveway or something. She is. At least it's not as cold as it could be, I guess. Not in Alaska. Dedication. Okay, can we hear Aaron?
Right.
Aaron, I don't know if we can hear you.
Hello, check, check. 1, 2, 1, 2.
Way far away.
Can you hear me?
A little better. Are you out in the woods too?
Oh yeah, I'm like cutting down some trees.
Okay. Show us this awesomeness.
I'm running the program. Okay, so we have some validation here. So let me start by entering in some test data. Gotta love that state, right? Beautiful time of year.
Globba lobba.
Okay, and then our shipping options.
Regular expressions. Who needs those?
So, we have our shipping quote here. When we click the add package, it populates in our grid data grid view. Now, something that I found fun to do, if we change the name, we get a pop-up. Oh, it's not the same name you entered previously. Do you want to make a new invoice? So let's hit no. Another thing that we can do, click add package, please enter a valid zip code.
I want to see the baby. We should get
Me
this
too.
baby.
He's so cute, Riley. Oh my gosh, he's so cute.
He's helping. Sorry for distracting you. I just liked your helper. We lost you.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yep. There he is. Hey, cutie. He's helping.
He's helping. Oh my goodness, there he is.
What are you showing us here?
Look, he's already a little coder.
He is.
This is our shipping label.
Oh.
Who it's from here.
Okay.
Who it's to.
We're not hearing you very good. I guess you better turn your camera back off, even though he's cutie.
Okay, give me 1 second.
There you are.
Okay. So same deal with our label. Our invoice. A little bigger.
Nice.
All right, we have some sort of format going on here. And it kind of matches our format for our form as well. You know, we have our header, our packages, and our footer. Now, the SQL part, which Jackie was awesome in doing. Let's load.
Yes.
Let's save our current one. Oh, let me get rid of that breakpoint. Okay, so we saved it to our database now. Let's go ahead and retrieve a previous one. Load invoice. You'll be opening a different invoice. You'll lose any unsaved work. And then here, see our add package is disabled because it's an already generated and saved invoice. We don't want to edit a previous file. And that's something, you know, if a user wants it different, we can always set that up. And we can still print it, yada, yada, yada. We can clear our form. We can clear the invoice. Once you get another pop-up, are you sure? So yeah, there's our form. Let's close that and let's look at some code. Let's move this. This is just in my way. Yes, I can. Okay. So let's come to our shipping. Oh. Go to our underlined code. So, Alan, Bubba's. Oh, you're grumpy. Give me 1 second. Let me go put him on.
Sure.
And I just want to add that this project was a really cool real life experience of learning how to work with different skill levels and different work schedules and how to really come together to still create something really awesome. And I really appreciated this project.
Good. And I think that you guys can see how different teams have excelled in different areas. So on a project like this, when all of you have worked so hard and done such a great job, I don't see how an instructor could give somebody a bad grade. So I know that in the reviews, I might hear that somebody did actually no work But in this class, I haven't really seen that. You guys have all just been working together so much. Now, I hope you see, while Aaron's getting all caught up here, that each group, like I say, excelled in different areas. That's why it's so important to try to combine forces and work together, because we can make so much better of a product together than we can on our own. Of course, Greg kind of proved that you could still do great on your own, right? Aaron, are you ready?
Yeah, I'm just cleaning this up, you know, collapsing all the codes so we can find what we want to look at.
You went to the other room again or something. We can't hear you.
Hello, can you hear me now? Sorry, the microphone is right at the left. Hear me? Check, check. 1, 2, 1, 2.
You're kind of going in and out, like you're stepping away and stepping back towards the computer or something.
Yeah.
I have it on my lap now instead of next to me. Anyways, so we have a couple, quite a few methods here. The most exciting
Control
one.
MO. Rich says you should do Control MO to close all methods and collapse all.
Oh, that is good to know.
I did not know that.
Exciting methods would be our loading stuff.
Control MP to open all. Try it. I'm always trying to find that thing on the menus, because I'm not a good keystroke rememberer.
Sweet, thank you.
MP and MO. Awesome. Okay, so what are you showing us?
So some of our SQL here, it is calling methods from a data adapter. Let's go down to our data adapter. And which method was that calling? The get all invoice. Yeah, we have pretty to the point with our well, you know, is there like anything you guys want to see, or maybe the web service?
Anything special you guys want to see? I like the way that you've integrated the data adapter and some of those advanced tools into your forms. You guys have taken, you know, some native SQL along with those advanced tools and used them together. Good job. No, I think that's great. I don't think there's anything else that looks really good. Give him a hand. You guys also did great. Everybody should be very proud of their project. You would definitely want to keep this in some sort of portfolio and have it available to show people. Yay! That's what I need. Okay. And do at this time, or when you get done with your final at least, make sure you back up your TFS repository, you know, that you've got, do the get all updates at the highest level so that you can copy everything to your local machine, because they do wipe out TFS every semester. So none of your stuff will be there, and I want to make sure you've got it copied. Yay! All right, let's look at our study guide. Stay with us if you would. I know that sometimes it can be challenging to look at the study guide and work together through it, but I promise it's worth it. It's just one of those things where sometimes it's what you got to do. We never want to just memorize stuff, but sometimes we have to. All right, so I'm going to go find our final. Whoops, sorry, I have it set up differently in the different classes just to confuse myself. And looking at our study guide here, we finished this green section last time. We only have one class left, so let's try and do this red and purple one today. And if you notice, the purple one's real short. we shouldn't have any trouble getting through those. That should be pretty quick. I do wish that it was a linked document, but it's not. So I'll just scroll down. Someone will tell me what page it is eventually. So this second section is one that we might want to do a little bit of sample code in, you know, just to try some things to make sure that we're clear on the answers. Tried to point you guys to some of the object-oriented characteristics this semester so that we've already got a lot of this stuff under our belt. Let's see who we've got. Go to our people here. I don't really remember where we left off last time. Oh, I think we had made it all the way around. Kirti, I think we were back to you. I think we made it to the end of the alphabet and would come back to you.
Understand the fundamentals of classes. Scenario. Tailspin Toys is developing a simple robotic dog for small children. The dog will connect to a computer via a USB cable, and kids will be able to use a simple application to personalize the toy to their life. Although the hardware is nearly complete, Tailspin has not yet created the software that owners will use to customize their toy dog. Victor has been hired to begin work on the software. Initially, Victor will need to design a class to represent the dogs. Naturally, the class will be named Dog. The toy, and therefore the dog class, will need to keep track of the dog's name, age, and gender, and will be able to bark, walk, wag its tail, and sit. So far, he has written the following C# code. Which of the following be a property in a dog class?
Looking at that code, which one would you call a property?
B.
B. And they're violating the uppercase, lowercase standards, aren't they? And they're going to do lots of other things like that to try to kind of be just a little bit distracting. But yeah, we're looking for something that is a data field. What about number 2?
To create a dog with a different name, age, or gender, Victor should add.
What do you think about that one? C? Someone said it. A? We would have to have another constructor, wouldn't we? Because that one is kind of setting default values. What about number 3?
Which line of code correctly creates a new dog in C#?
Which one?
B.
B?
B.
B. Good job. So the essential details, again, are really great places to review. I just don't think there's anything on there that I need to point out to you guys. I think that that's something that you've got a pretty good handle on. Okay, next alphabetically would be Mary. Mary, are you still here?
Yes, I am.
Yay.
As Tailspin Toys continues to develop its robotic dog toy, early marketing tests reveal that customers would like to choose from different breeds of robotic dogs. As a result, Tailspin has decided to create 3 variations: a poodle, a bulldog, and a golden retriever. The company has indicated that they will consider adding additional breeds in the future. The breeds will have a set of common attributes and behaviors, but each breed may have some unique capabilities. This presents some challenges for Victor as he designs the software children will use to customize the dogs. He doesn't want to write all of his code 3 times, once for each breed. He also doesn't want future programmers to create new breeds that are not compatible with his original design. Since Victor realizes that a poodle is a dog, and the same is true for other breeds, Victor decides to use inheritance. 1. In Victor's new design, Poodles, Bulldog, and Golden Retriever are all
Which one? C's. What about number 2?
To allow breeds to reuse code and to help ensure the future breeds are compatible, dog could be declared as
Abstract. Yep. What about number 3?
which of the following are not going to be inherited by the 3 derived classes?
Which one is it? A. Constructors, right? Because we're still going to use that base class constructor. So good, good, good. They have a hint over here. Base classes are referred to as parent classes or super classes. Derived classes are referred to as child classes or subclasses. I tried to say as many of those different terms as many times as possible. Okay, you guys got it all perfect. Don't forget the is-a relationship. That'll be an important thing as you're taking your exam. The is-a and the has-a. So properties are has-a, inheritance is is-a. All right, the next one. Jacob, Estrada.
Victor's work with Tailspin Toys, robotic dogs, is progressing well. He knows that his software for personalizing the dogs will be popular with customers. Victor feels that his basic class designer ideas are good and he's ready to think about the details. As long as the engineers and marketing stops making changes, Victor knows that while all dogs share some common behaviors such as barking, the bark that may be different from one breed to the next. The bark method he creates for a poodle will need to be different from the bark method he implements for a golden retriever. In his dog class, he created a few methods. Here are the headers written in C#. Public void dog, or public void bark, public void wag tail, public void walk. To be able to override these methods in the derived class, what modifier should Victor add to all 3 headers?
Which one? C? Yep. What about number 2?
How can Victor invoke the bark method in the dog class from within a derived class?
Which one is it? B or C or A? C? What about number 3?
What should Victor do if he wants the bulldog class to just use the walk method of the dog?
Not A. Which one? What do you think? If we don't implement it at all, and we call it, is it going to use the base classes method? So would that be what we want to do? So as long as we have that base class method, we don't have to worry about implementing that method in our child class, in our derived class. But in the example of number 2, we had implemented that method in the derived class, and we wanted to use the parent class method. So in that instance, we would use the base dot syntax. Okay, good job. So get some details in there on that kind of stuff. Some important keywords. These are super important for you. Base, our base class, virtual, sealed. Now, this is one that we haven't used a lot in class, but this prevents other classes from inheriting it or from being overridden. This new modifier is one that you might want to do a little research about. When used as a modifier, this hides a base class member. So I could say, this is a new dog, and that's different than the new operator used to create an instance. This kind of like overrides that class. And then we've used the override operator a lot to replace an inherited member that we're overriding. So they show some examples of the override command whenever we're implementing those methods in our derived classes. All right, encapsulation. Ethan, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. Victor has done a great job designing a software to customize Tailspin Toys robotic dogs. So great, in fact, that his boss wants to give him a promotion. Unfortunately, that means Victor won't be able to finish writing the software himself. Instead, a new developer will take over the project. On the new developer first day, however, she accidentally sets the robot age to -237 and crashes the program. To ensure that the new developer doesn't damage code that already works, Victor decided to black box that code he's already implemented. This means that the new developer won't need to see Victor's code, but will be able to use it as she continues the project. Victor can also ensure that the values are checked before any changes are made so that the dog doesn't end up with a negative age. Victor has implemented several methods in the dog class that he uses for bark, such as open mouth and closed mouth. He doesn't want these methods to called by any derived classes. Which class modifier should he use for those black box methods?
What do you think? How can you make sure that nobody else can see them? What about number 2?
Victor's primary methods, bark, sit, walk, and wagtail, should be accessible from anywhere in the project. With which access modifier should be used for those methods?
Anywhere in the project. So which one would be the most restrictive that would still work? Protected? What about number 3?
Do you want me to read the questions or?
Sure, go ahead.
Okay, which of the following provides a means for reading and or modifying private attributes?
Perfect. What do you guys think about number 3? What is it? C. Exactly. Okay, let's check them. Whenever, look at this hint here before we scroll on, and they say in C# and Visual Basic, properties provide getter and setter, also called accessor and mutator, functionality for instance variables. So remember, our private data fields can be accessed through our public properties. So number 2, when we're within the same project, we have to go with public. And this is where we might want to do a little testing. And I think that honestly, to be on the same page, I do believe that some text material may be a little bit different than what actually happens in reality. So it is nice to try some different things there. We will here in a minute. Let's take a look at our essential details. When we're black boxing or encapsulating, we're making something be invisible. So encapsulating it, tying it all up in that little black box and not letting anybody else touch it or mess with it or anything. So we want our instance variables of our base class to be protected so that our derived classes can access the data while still hiding the data from other parts of the program. So right there where they're saying we could make them protected, we've seen some other areas where we have to make them private. Let's create a project here, or I'll create one real fast. I'm gonna make this be a new console project. And I wanna just create a project, I'll call it inheritance. And I'm going to look at my Solution Explorer. I think I want to create a class. I'll just add a class. And I'm going to call this class A. And then we can just try some different things. I'll make a private variable. And then I'll make a protected variable. And then I can make a public, and of course we know we'll be able to access that one. So my class doesn't have a lot. I just want to try these different access levels. So I'll go back to my primary program and try to create an instance of my class. Class A, test equals new. Now, looking at my class, we can kind of see what we can access. And the only thing I'm seeing is that public variable. So even though I'm in the same project, I'm not being able to access that protected variable, if that makes sense. Now this project, I'm going to keep it because I might want to try some other things. I'll just say string save equals so that I just have some valid code there. But I might want to try some other things as far as what I can access and what I can't. We'll see that as we go. All right. So we might come back to our little project, we might not, but we can create a project really simply like that to just kind of double check and get a really good feel, because we are getting some different pieces of information from different places. Kind of depends on where they are and what version of C# they're using, I'm afraid. All right, let's see, that was Ethan did such a great job reading that one for us. Ivy, can you start with the purple? Oh, before Ivy starts, one thing that can really get you in certification tests are distractors, distractions, and distractors. So remember, if you hit a term that you're not familiar with, don't stress about it too much. Just focus on the parts of the question that you do know and kind of, try to build the information based on the question, the things that you are familiar with, and try to not really focus on that thing you don't know, because that will increase your stress and make it harder for you to focus. So just kind of put it to the side. It's a distractor. It's probably not even important, just something that they threw in there as a distractor. The other thing can be personal bias. So in this example, my personal bias just flares when we read this example. I have a really hard time with it because they make it the girl that comes in and crushes the program. And so as a guy, a lot of you guys, that doesn't really affect you guys, right? But for some of us girls, that's some personal bias. That can cause like an emotional reaction in us, physically, and make it harder to answer questions. So don't let personal bias, prejudices, if you see a name that causes your emotions to flare because you have some personal things, try to put those things aside. Try to not let personal biases affect you. It's a big deal. It's a big deal in test software and test certification, because we don't want entire groups of people failing certification exams because of personal bias. And Microsoft usually does a really good job with that. But that one question is an example where they just failed miserably. All right. Get off my high horse and my personal bias thing. It's just, So now, Ivy, read this purple one for us.
Nipur has been named project manager of a new reservation system for Blue Yonder Airline. She will lead a team of developers tasked with all phases of the application lifecycle. Nipur and her team met with managers from each branch of the company and discussed the company's needs and the basic features that everyone requires. The application will be web-based and will allow Blue Yonder's customers to search flights, book reservations, and check in online. After the meeting, Nipur and her developers began outlining the program from their perspective. Although they haven't begun coding, the developers are beginning to sketch out the classes and objects of the project using UML. Their outline is not complete, but a plan for accomplishing the required tasks is coming together. Nipur wants to divide the job in such a way that the team members can work on different parts of the program at the same time. Nipur's meeting with the company managers is part of which stage of the application lifecycle?
Before we answer this one, let's veer off for a moment. And I'm going to Google Microsoft application lifecycle. And I told you this would be a short one, and it is. The only problem is that we need to refer to Microsoft's documentation, because we've seen the application lifecycle from the CIS120 textbook perspective, from the CIS150 perspective, maybe even from the web dev perspective. We need Microsoft's perspective if we're going to answer questions on their exam. So the very first response that I get is from Microsoft, and it's overview of application lifecycle management. So what is their idea? Plan and track, develop, build and test, deploy, operate, monitor, and learn. So now, let's refer back to that question. Where are we based on Microsoft's idea of application lifecycle management planning? What about number 2?
The use of UML in this scenario.
What do you think? Waste of time? No. What do you think? Are we going to share that UML with our clients? Probably not. What about number 3?
As the team writes code, Nipur will ask each team to test their classes independently. What is this strategy called?
What would that be without looking at any sort of other resources, just using common sense? Unit testing? What would load testing be? Think about being beta testers for games. That would be where we want as many people as possible hitting it all at once, right? How much of a load can it handle? What about C, the integration testing? That's where we're testing all the pieces together, right? Making sure that like your mailing label works with all of your other pieces. That would be the integration testing. Now on Microsoft's site, they also have some information about that. Product testing, Microsoft. See if I can find their documentation. Maybe types of product testing. I always like to find the most current Microsoft information because it is always evolving. So here's docs.microsoft.com, evolving test practices at Microsoft. I'm not sure if that's what I want, but I'll take a look. That doesn't seem very helpful. So how about unit testing, C#? I'm going to go completely in a different strategy. Okay, now I find some different stuff about unit testing on Microsoft's website, and I could check into all of those. This one is a tutorial, creating and running unit testing. So that's got some good information in it. But I still would like to know what the other types of testing are. We could actually automate our unit testing, and that's what a lot of the results that I'm finding are, how to do that. That's not really what I want. I want maybe Microsoft testing strategies. Maybe unit testing versus integration testing. We'll try it. Well, I think that Microsoft has taken down their awesome page about their different types of testing because it shouldn't be so hard to find. But I think you'll be good if you understand unit testing is just testing one unit of work, right? One piece of work. And then integration testing is when I'm combining some different units and testing them together. And then of course we know beta testing is testing that we do before a product is released. The video game industry has really helped with a lot of these testing terms that everybody's pretty familiar with them now. So that's good. Use that skill set, that knowledge. So you had that one. He might have some information here. No. But here's their phases of application lifecycle management that they want. The application lifecycle management process, remember they've given it an acronym. They will usually spell it out though. Okay, next purple thing. You can see this purple section is basics that we're familiar with, but we're familiar with these basics using a lot of different sources. You know, we kind of have to zero in a little bit on Microsoft as a source for some of these. Stuart, can you read this next one for us?
Ari has just completed an internship at Toso Pharmaceuticals, working with their developers on software used by the company's employees. His supervisor is very impressed and has offered Ari a job with the development team for Toso's next generation application. The company has decided to start from scratch, allowing the new team to develop the application while employees continue to use the old system. The company currently produces more than 1,000 products and plans to expand. The new application will track all of the company's inventory, as well as some basic shipping and receiving details. Employees should be able to search through the company's product catalog and view product details such as the product description, product image, in-stock quantity, and cost. What type of application will be a good fit for these requirements?
Console? No. What do you think? What's a Windows service? Is that like a Windows form? Or is a Windows service something that runs behind the scenes as a service, like your web service? Yeah, they're talking about a behind the scenes app. So process of elimination, which one does it have to be? Has to be B? Has to be B? Oh, what's going on out there, guys? Excitement. Just the guy. All right, what about number 2?
Many of the company's computers are old with limited RAM and hard drive space, but all are connected
Use Windows 98. This one only has one realistic answer, doesn't it? We can kind of eliminate the other two and focus on C. What about number 3?
RA supervisor has asked him to prepare a non-functioning demonstration of what the new application will look like so that the department managers understand what is being developed and how they will interface with the application. This is called
What would you guys call that? Mock-up, yeah. Very good. Okay, algorithms and data structures. Richard.
Some time ago, Cassie agreed to help her soccer coach, Ken, keep track of the team by creating a software program especially for the task. The roster application will make it much easier for the coach to keep track of his players' personal information and some simple statistics. Now that Cassie has completed some initial planning, she needs to decide how to organize all of the data in her program. The application will need to keep track of many players, allowing the users to search through and pull up any individual's data. And of course, the coach will need to print a few reports, such as a complete roster sorted by jersey numbers, a phone list arranged alphabetically by the players' last names, and the team's leader goals. Which of the following data structures would be a good choice for organizing the players?
What do you think? An array. What about number 2?
Which of the following would help Cassie arrange the players in alphabetical order?
Now they're just throwing words at you, huh? What's the right answer? A sword. What about number 3?
Which data structure could Cassie use if she only wanted to retrieve players using a last in, first out model?
Which one was that? Remember? Stacks like pancakes. Very good. We want to use the simplest data structure that we can. An array would be that. The bubble sort would sort things. And our stack is our last in, first out data structure. For the linked list, you may actually see a question like that, where they would show you different nodes, one connected to the next. That would be the only time you would be concerned about a linked list. Because in general, remember, you're going to want to pick the simplest option. Yay! That's going to put us down to just our last couple of sections for Monday. We'll be all done. I hope that, and actually I know that going through this information is very beneficial, points out to us areas that we need to do a little bit more research on Microsoft's site. Any questions pop up in your head as we're looking at these things? The section that we went through, this red one. So this red one is the highest weight objective on your exam. So I think that everybody was pretty comfortable with those concepts, so that's good. Focus a little bit more on protected and private. Excellent, excellent job. If there's no questions, I'll turn everything off. All set. Have a great weekend. Make a Jeopardy game. Beat it, you can beat it.
That plus the